Imagine England at the beginning of the 15th century. The country has already lived through many decades of medieval wars, yet the system of roads we know today does not exist. When a modern person thinks about travel, they imagine maps, road signs, and wide highways. In England of the year 1424, there is none of that. Between towns, there are no proper roads in the modern sense. Most routes are simply worn paths, wagon ruts, and old directions that people remember out of habit. When a traveller leaves the city gates, what lies ahead is not really a road, but rather a direction, a narrow strip of earth where others once walked. Sometimes it passes through fields, sometimes through dense forest, and sometimes it disappears completely into mud after rain. Travel in this time is not movement along infrastructure, but navigation through the landscape. England still carries traces of a much older past. More than 1,000 years earlier, the Romans built a network of stone roads that connected military camps and cities. Some of these roads are still used, although many have been damaged by time. In some places, the stone slabs have sunk into the ground, while in others they were removed long ago to build houses. Yet certain sections continue to serve as major routes. These roads are often called streets, and merchants and royal messengers prefer to follow them whenever possible. Even these old Roman roads do not form a complete network. In most regions, travellers move along dirt tracks that quickly turn into deep mud after rain. The English climate makes movement especially difficult. During autumn and winter, wagons sink into the earth and horses struggle to pull their loads. Sometimes travellers must climb down and physically push the wagon out of the ruts. For this reason, most people travel on foot. The pace is slow. On a good day, a person might walk 20 or 25 kilometers if the weather is kind and the ground is firm. A horse can make the journey faster, but keeping a horse is expensive and far beyond the reach of many. Ordinary peasants, craftsmen, and even some traders move mainly by walking. Merchants rarely travel alone. Roads are dangerous, so people often form small groups. Several traders, a few apprentices, and perhaps one or two armed companions create a typical caravan moving between towns. Their journey may last several days or even weeks. When someone sets out on the road, they carry very little. A small bag with bread, cheese or dried meat, a leather flask filled with drink, often weak ale, and a simple cloak to protect against rain. At night, travellers stay wherever they can. Sometimes they find a roadside tavern, though such places are rare. More often, they seek shelter in monasteries or ask for lodging in villages. Navigation depends heavily on landmarks. Without maps or signs, people memorize the landscape itself. Rivers act as natural highways. Hills help determine direction. Church towers rise above fields and forests, visible from great distances, acting like beacons in the countryside. When a traveller sees the spire of a church on the horizon, they know a village must be nearby where water and food can be found. Yet even with experience, the road remains unpredictable. After heavy rain, a familiar path may disappear beneath water. A small stream can turn into a rushing current that must be crossed carefully. Bridges exist, but not everywhere, and many are wooden structures that decay quickly. As travellers move farther from major towns, the journey becomes even more difficult. The countryside of 15th century England is covered with thick forests, marshy plains, and narrow paths that may vanish suddenly among grass and bushes. Many routes pass through communal farmland where peasants grow grain. Between the fields run thin passages used by people and livestock. These paths are not marked in any way. Only local residents truly know them, and travellers often have to ask farmers for directions. Weather remains one of the greatest challenges. Rain falls frequently, and the soil quickly turns into heavy, sticky mud. Wagon wheels carve deep ruts into the ground. Over time, those ruts grow deeper and deeper, until a wheel can become trapped completely. When that happens, travellers unload the wagon and pull it free by hand. In some places, the path is so damaged that people simply walk around it through fields or along the edge of a forest. Because of this, wagons are often used only for short distances. Heavy cargo is more commonly carried by pack horses or mules when travelling far. Each animal carries sacks of wool, barrels of wine, or bundles of cloth. Such caravans move slowly, but they handle rough terrain, far better than wagons stuck in mud. Certain trade routes become especially important. One busy path leads from London north toward York. Along this route, merchants transport wool, the most valuable export of England at the time. English wool is highly prized across Europe and is shipped through ports to regions such as Flanders. Merchants carrying such goods usually travel in groups and try to choose routes known to be relatively safe. Safety is a constant concern. Bandits sometimes hide in forests and attack traders moving through isolated areas. Robbery is not uncommon, especially where valuable cargo is carried. For that reason, many merchants hire guards. Sometimes these are simply strong companions armed with swords or spears. Even a small armed group can discourage opportunistic thieves. Another danger is becoming lost. Modern maps do not yet exist. Some merchants and monks possess simple route diagrams, but most people rely on memory and spoken directions. They remember journeys as a sequence of landmarks. First a bridge across a river, then a large oak grove, then a hill with a stone chapel. If one of those landmarks disappears or changes, the route may suddenly become confusing. Rivers therefore play a crucial role in transportation. The Thames, the Severn, and other large rivers act as natural highways. Moving cargo by water is far easier than dragging it through mud. Barges and boats can carry large loads while using the river's current. In many cases, water travel is several times faster and safer than travelling by land. Members of the nobility and royal messengers sometimes enjoy slightly better conditions. A king's courier may receive assistance from local authorities and monasteries. In some areas, horses can be changed along the route, allowing the messenger to travel faster than ordinary people. Yet even these riders follow the same narrow tracks and dirt paths as everyone else. Monasteries become vital rest points along the way. Pilgrims, traders, and wanderers can find food, water, and shelter there. The monastery walls offer protection during the night, and monks often know the surrounding routes better than anyone. They can guide travellers toward the next town or river crossing. This is how most journeys unfold in England of the year 1424. A road is not a straight line drawn on a map, but a fragile network of paths, memory, and habit. Travellers navigate by rivers, forests, church towers, and stories from those who walked the route before them. Step by step, slowly and cautiously, people cross the land long before the age of real roads arrives.